Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the Durham Student YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be answering questions from a Q&A. So basically we asked questions over on the Durham Student Instagram stories, and we got a lot of questions submitted, and I am going to try and aim to tackle as many of them as possible in this video. It is very packed. But if your question isn't on here, we've probably contacted you because it was like a more specific question that wasn't applicable to so many people. But without further ado, I'm going to get on. We have like 6 subsections of questions and each one has a few questions in it. So the first subsection of questions is on moving to university, and the first specific question says, do you have any advice on preparing to come to Durham University? Now, I think there are a whole load of preparation things you can do depending on what course you are applying to, but right at the moment, because we would have been having our post-offer visit day, like offer holder days, a couple of weeks ago, all the colleges are putting out a lot of content about like what Durham's like, what living in that specific college is like. So right now, to prepare, I would recommend you kind of look at everything that there is on offer. So for us at Mary's, I was one of the post-offer visit day reps, and what we did is create a video sort of encapsulating what life at Mary's is like, and that would be over on our YouTube channel, and I know a lot of other colleges have done similar things like this. And then over on the college website, we've shared like Q&As and like contacts for specific members of college if you have any questions. So a lot of colleges have done this kind of thing, so that might be a good place to start with preparing. The next question is, what are the top 3 things you would recommend to bring to Durham? So my number one thing, which I think a lot of people probably know about already, is to bring a doorstop. I hadn't actually thought about this until like a week before I came to Durham, but it is the perfect thing for when you arrive in Freshers. You prop open your door, and that means that you socialise with everyone in your corridor as they're moving in. And in Freshers Week, like, everyone can kind of come in and out of rooms, and just throughout the whole year as well. It means that you can get to know people, and it's quite a sociable thing to do. The second thing is to bring a dressing gown, because depending on where you're from in the UK, you're probably going to find Durham a little bit cold because it's in the north. Now, I don't personally find it that cold, but I'm not from that far south in the UK either. But it's like naturally, it's going to be a bit colder, and it's just a nice, cozy, homely thing to have with you. The third thing that I would recommend you bring is anything to decorate your walls. You want to make it feel like home as quickly as you can when you move in, and the best way to do that is to bring photos, posters. Like, I had a tapestry kind of like this one on my wall, and just like any like trinkets, decorations that you might want to bring. So the second subsection of questions is on making friends. The first question says, I don't drink and I don't like clubbing. Are there other people like this, and have you got any advice? So, strangely enough, this was my main worry before I came to Durham. I'm not a fan of clubbing. Like, I like to have a drink, but I don't like drinking very much. And I was very worried about how I would fit into uni culture and uni life. But I would say that there was actually not that much pressure to do that. So I was very worried before coming, but actually in Freshers Week I went on one night out because there are events in college, and that means that you get to meet many more people that are your kind of people. Because there isn't this pressure to go out, you end up meeting quite a lot of people who go to the same sort of events as you. So this might be anything from like craft events to just like karaoke nights, and then we had like some in-college events as well, so like a bop and kind of like just like music night, silent discos, that kind of thing. And because they're like a little bit more low-key, then you're probably more likely to find your kind of people there. Yeah, so basically I've met so many nice people since coming to Durham. I'm friends with quite a variety of people, and I didn't meet a single one of those people clubbing. So please don't worry. I wouldn't want anyone to worry as much as I did, because probably from about this time onwards I spent my entire time worrying. I was an absolute mess like before I came to uni, and my family all just wanted me to go because they knew it'd be fine. And I'm now looking back, there was no need to worry that much, because honestly I've met the nicest people. The next question asks how to make friends as an introvert. Now, I think this brings another layer maybe to the previous question, or at least another layer to the concerns I had before coming. Like, whilst I'm perfectly comfortable talking in front of a camera, I'm super shy around people I don't know, although I can be quite confident once I get to know people. And so I was incredibly nervous about that kind of getting to know you stage with people when I arrived at uni. And I know, like, it's easier or harder for different people. It was incredibly out of my comfort zone, but I sort of tried to do the fake it till you make it strategy when I arrived. So for the first couple of weeks that I was in Durham, I just pushed myself out of my comfort zone and like acted as confident as I could do, because I knew the more confident I acted, the more confident I'd feel. And so I talked to loads of people, I socialised. I did get very exhausted by it towards the end because, you know, introvert burnout, but I did meet a lot of nice people and they were all accepting of me when I turned out to be a little bit less like chatty and outgoing than I maybe originally seemed. The next question asks, how easy is it to make friends in your college and in other colleges? So personally, I found it a lot easier to make friends in my college, but that's because I'm really involved in college level activities. So I've kind of put more of my focus into being involved in things like ball committees, our welfare committee, and that kind of thing in college. So that's meant I've met a lot more people on a collegiate level, and the same thing if you're involved in college sports teams and things. But at the same time, if you want to meet people from a greater variety of colleges, if you are involved in any societies that are on a wider uni level, that's also really easy. And I know plenty of people that do have friends in other colleges. It's just not the case for me, but that depends on how you prefer to socialise. And again, depending on whether you're more introverted or extroverted, that might differ, because as quite an introverted person, I found that making friends in college was a lot more in my comfort zone. So the next couple of questions are about colleges, and the first question is, how is South College and what's South College like? So South College, if you don't know, is the new college that's being built in Durham, and it's going to be ready in September. It's like the 17th college of Durham, so this year will be the first year that people are taken into South College. And actually a few months ago, a couple of members of like our marketing team went to see it, and apparently it was looking great. I saw some photos, it looked really cool. Like obviously they were finishing stuff off, it wasn't done yet because like they had half a year left to go till it needs to be done, but it looks really awesome and I am so intrigued to see it, and will definitely be going on a bar crawl to South College when I come back in my 4th year. The other question is, how bad is it walking to a hill college late at night / early in the morning, and how bad is the distance walking from city lecture buildings to city colleges like hill colleges, vice versa? Basically, what's the distances like in Durham? So it depends where you are. There are benefits of being located in different places with the different colleges. So obviously, if you are going on a night out, the closer colleges are going to be the colleges on the Bailey, which are in the centre of town, because that's probably only going to take you like 5 or 10 minutes to get home, and that is very nice and close and convenient. If you're going up to a college like Mary's or Gray's or Trev's, that'll probably take you more like 15-20 minutes. It depends how fast a walker you are, and also how fast a walker you are after you've been on a night out. And then to get up to like the top hill colleges, it's probably going to be more like 25 minutes walk. Now, I personally don't mind this because I find it kind of refreshing, and I'd rather just have a bit of a walk than pay for a taxi, because like where I'm from, if you go on a night out, you're going to pay £10 a taxi every time you want to go out, and I find that a bit expensive, but it depends how much you like walking. On the flip side of that, if you're like walking to lectures and back, if you have your lectures on the science site, which is kind of like where the library is and the teaching and learning centre, so it's where lots of the big buildings are, these are really close to like Mary's and Gray's and Trev's, so that might be like 5 or 10 minutes walk, depending on which college you're in. But then if you're at the top of the hill or on the Bailey, it could be more like 15 minutes. But generally you will never walk more than half an hour to get somewhere, unless like once you're living out it can be a little bit further, but honestly not that bad. The next few questions are sort of on the wider uni experience, so kind of not college or making friends or anything, so they're a bit random but they kind of fit together. The first question is, where is the best place to study with your friends? So I think this depends on what you like. The Teaching and Learning Centre, which is the new building, is really great. It's like group study space and it's lovely and new, but it's not super big, and that also has like lecture theatres and stuff. But then we also have in the Bill Bryson Library, which is the main library, that has communal study space on the ground floor of the, well, like on the, it's sort of like lower ground floor, but on floor 1 of the library, and so you can talk on that floor. But then on the other floors, if you want to sort of work with your friends but not be talking with your friends, you can like work on the other floors. And also you can book group study rooms as well. These are generally for like group assignments, but people also book them out with their friends sometimes, and they're in like the Teaching and Learning Centre and in the Bill Bryson Library, which are like the 2 main study spaces. But again, there are also different study spaces in every single college. The next question is, what type of events did the Students' Union run? So the SU run a variety of types of events. The ones that I'm mostly aware of that I've attended are Durham Does Strictly, which is really cool. It's like Strictly Come Dancing, but with Durham celebrities, so it's kind of like the JCR presidents and stuff, or like people on the Uni Challenge team. And then they did Durham's Got Talent as well, so like Britain's Got Talent, but Durham's Got Talent, and that was like a few weeks ago. But then kind of all of the society events kind of come under SU events, because like SU societies and the main uni societies, so then there's all sorts of things like fashion shows, like different music recitals, dance shows, all those kind of things. So there are tons and tons of events to go to. So the next question is, how hard is it to balance work and extracurriculars? So obviously this isn't the easiest thing, but it's so manageable. In Durham, most people do quite a lot of different things. Now this year I have had a job with the uni. I have been working on our college exec as a publicity officer. I've been an active member of different societies, helping running welfare campaigns, doing parkruns every Saturday, and still managed to get all my work done ahead of the deadline. So it's definitely manageable. I know a lot of the other interns on our team leave very busy scheduled lives, do all sorts of extracurriculars, and a lot of other people around the uni, for example, do DU sports, which have like 15-hour sporting commitments a week, and still manage to complete all of their studies. So it's definitely perfectly manageable. The next question is a bit like more of a long one. It's, how do you apply for jobs in college, in uni, and out of uni? So obviously this is like quite an extended question, but if we start with jobs in college, these are usually advertised in like weekly newsletters, and it's a fairly easy application process. You might have an application form which you'll submit to the relevant member of college. So for example, if you're applying for a job on the bar, it'd be like the bar steward, or the toasty bar would be the toasty bar manager. So like kind of like that, and then it's just like an informal interview, and then obviously depending on how many positions and how many people, it might get cut down a bit. On a uni level, these are usually advertised through weekly careers emails, but they're also available on the uni careers website. So once you have like your Durham login, you can check on there, and these come through in an email with like loads of other job opportunities, which has kind of like grad jobs, placements, but it also has like jobs in Durham and then jobs in the uni. So that kind of shows a few. So that does show some of the jobs in Durham that aren't in the uni, but also like for some jobs just in Durham. So if you wanted to work in a cafe or in the cinema or something, you can look at websites such as Indeed. So I actually applied for a job in the cinema when I first arrived in Durham, but I couldn't kind of take on the number of hours in the end. But I also had a job in a cafe, and that was just advertised in the window of the cafe. So there are kind of loads of different opportunities, and if you want to get a job at uni, this is definitely manageable. And I've actually filmed a whole video about jobs at uni that got uploaded a few weeks ago on this channel, so that was worth having a look at, and I interviewed different people who had a variety of different roles across the uni as well. So the next question is, what is your favourite thing about Durham? So my favourite thing about Durham is the sense of community that we have. So like within a college, you have the best sense of community with the staff, with the other students, the fact that there's student support, student welfare. It's just really caring, and you know that there's always someone there who has your back. I also asked our interns, and one of our Instagram interns, Lizzie, said that her favourite thing is that it's so easy to get involved with so many different new things, clubs, societies, sports around the uni. There are just loads of new options of things to try alongside your studies. That kind of leads us in nicely to the next section of questions, which is about clubs and societies. Firstly, I will say I'm going to answer some specific questions, but if you have queries about clubs and societies and things, on the Students' Union website, you can check out a full list of all the societies available. I'm not sure it includes quite all of them, but it has definitely most of them on there. So check that out, and you'll be able to see tons and tons of societies listed. Everything from karate to meditation to like role play games, everything. So have a look on there. But I've got some specific questions on here as well. The first question asked was, I play violin. Is there an orchestra I can join? And there was another one that was, what's the music scene in Durham? So I'm kind of going to answer those together. But there are loads and loads of music groups to get involved in Durham, like more than you could possibly get involved in. Some of the ones that I know of are the Hill Orchestra, which I know has violin, for whoever asked that, but Basement Jazz in Mary's, Castle Band, Durham University Big Band, Flute Choir, Footnotes a cappella. Like, lots of colleges have their college level ones, there's uni level ones. There is so many. If you want to do music, it's such a great place to get involved in music. Not that I am, but we all enjoy listening to all of these bands because you can all like play at different college events and things. So for example, at Mary's Day, which is like the end of year Mary's celebrations, loads of bands will come and play at that, like bands from across the uni. Someone else asked, does Durham compete in national mooting competitions? The answer is yes. So the Mooting Society has competitions in Durham, and then like the winners go on to the national competitions, I think. And the final question about clubs and societies was, how hard are teams to get into, and can you take part even though you're not professional at the sport? So the answer is you have kind of sports at a college level and at a uni level. So the way that works is, if you compete in sport at a college level, it's intercollegiate. So say Mary's plays Grey, plays Trev's, plays, you know, like all the colleges play each other, and there's all sorts of sports, so like netball, basketball, hockey, football, rugby, table tennis, badminton, whatever you want. There's loads. So that's just on a college level, and then on a uni level you have like all the bigger sports, and these are competing between universities, so you have an even large selection of sports there. And again, you'll be able to see some of this over there on the Students' Union website, but you can basically take part in pretty much any sport. There's stuff from fencing to cycling to swimming to rowing. Rowing's very big in Durham, but yeah, there's like a massive variety, and these all have teams, especially on a college level. There's like A to F team for a lot of things. So like if you're competing on a uni level, you sort of like at a higher level for things, although for like entry level sports, maybe like fencing, you could probably join that even if you haven't done it before. But then on a college level, because there's like A to F team for a lot of things, even if you've never done something before, there's definitely a space for you, however good or bad you are. Final questions are about life around Durham as a city. So the first of these questions is, what is the nightlife like, and where are the best student spots? So we actually have quite a good variety of nightlife in Durham, even though it's a small city. It obviously depends how much you like going out, but I'd say we have about 8 clubs in Durham. Now, it's debatable which are clubs, which are bars and everything, but there are probably like 8 different going out spots in Durham. My personal favourite is Fab. So this is kind of a bar above one of the favourite student restaurants in Durham called Spags, and so that's like a Italian pasta restaurant, great typical first date restaurant in Durham. And above it there's a bar called Fabio's, and they have a whole variety of cocktails. They put on different nights, like Latin nights, jazz nights, all sorts of things, so you can go for a dance, some good live music, and go for drinks and everything. But there's also like proper clubs like Clute, which is the worst nightclub in Europe, Jimmy's, and a bunch of others. We've got a new one called Babylon this year, although I haven't been there. But there's a massive variety if you're interested in that. At the same time, if going out isn't your thing, there's no pressure to go, because there are so many other options of things to do. So there's a good variety if you want to go, but it's not like, that's not what uni life is focused around, if that makes sense. Final question is, what is the best food out of college? So we have loads of independent cafes around Durham. I used to work in one called Riverview Kitchen, which does an amazing brunch and has some really good pancakes and things. But there are loads of different ones like Flat White, Cathedral or Cathedral, depends how you want to say it. But there's so many cool places. Or like for evening meals, again, there are a lot of independent places, or there are some chain restaurants as well, but my favourite is Tapas Factory. They do super authentic Spanish tapas, which is lovely because my family's from Spain. They have loads of different vegetarian options on the menu, so it's really handy if you're veggie like me. Their menu split into like 3 columns, so one column is like meat options, one's fish options, and one's veggie options, so you can get a great selection. And they also do a really authentic shandy, which I love, and great sangria. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. I know this is a bit of a long video, but there were loads of questions submitted over on the Instagram. If you want us to do another one of these videos, just send a message over to the Durham Student Instagram or comment down below and let us know, and we will try and answer as many of your questions as possible. I know it's a bit of a crazy time at the moment, but we're all here to provide as much information as possible and to support you. So I hope you're all getting on well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.